Hey folks, this video is part of a series on GitHub Copilot feature highlights. To find the other videos, go to github-copilot.zebia.ms. Hey folks, this is an introduction video of the environment that we're using in a lot of these demos, so it really helps if you know what is being used and what we're trying to do. As an example, we're using a C# setup with just a normal application in there. It's a web-based application with a REST API in the backend. And we'll use that to set the stage for a lot of these demos. And I wanted to group that into a single introduction video so that you know what we're working with, and then you can just watch all the demo videos from there as well. What we have in there is an example of a REST API backend that can just be called with HTTP calls, so we can do unit testing and regression testing with those, for example. So we have some of those setups in there. And these are, of course, themed with all of our demos around the Wright brothers, because, of course, we made a jump from Copilot to the Wright brothers that created planes initially and started working with them. So, of course, this is all themed in that direction as well. So in here you can see that I have the planes controller open. I'm working inside of a code space that just has Visual Studio Code installed. And in there, of course, I have the Copilot extensions available as well. And I can then start using that. The planes controller is a starting point. This is the REST API endpoint for getting information about planes, for example. You can see that we have a logger construction in here so that we can log things out to our own logs in the backend. We have an instantiator for the planes controller, and then we just have a list of planes in here, which is, for the sake of the demo, of course, hard-coded, so we can give you some of those examples as well. And these are just themed again. We have a list of planes. The Wright Flyer was built in 1903 probably. It has a description, the first powered aircraft, and there's a range in kilometers, and things like that are in here as well. You can see that we have a GET request for getting all the planes, and that will just log some information to our logger, and then just gives back the entire static list of planes. That in the basis is what you need to know for the demo environment that we have. It all starts with that backend API, and we'll work our way through that in the demos as well. The planes controller focuses on the planes themselves, so we have the REST API for getting planes, and then we have the flights controller in here as well, and that then gives you flights for those planes. And that is where it becomes a little bit more complex, and we can give more complex examples of doing certain things like flight scenarios. These are some movements that you can make, and we can build on top of that as well. So you can see that we have a flight that has a flight number in here. It has an origin where those flights started when they were creating these planes, what the destination was, departure time, arrival time, things like that. And this is where it becomes interesting. Flight log signatures. Those are movements that flights can take when they're using a plane, of course. And they even can do aerobatic sequence signatures in here as well. So that's the premise. You can just use this one as the basis for all of the demos that we're doing. As a REST API, we can start using that and then build from there. So we can create unit tests using GitHub Copilot. We can run this. We can ask Copilot, how can I deploy this? That is the basis of all of the demos that we'll do in here as well. Visit github-copilot.zebia.ms for the other videos.